Is John McCain a true American hero? Why sports gamblers are loving Khalil Tate and Arizona football, and are the Russians to blame for another Election Day snafu in Maricopa County? These stories and more next on the 520. Well, welcome to the 520. I'm Steve Nunez.
I'm Artie Mata the Fourth. Thanks for joining us.
And we would be remiss if we did not recognize the fact that Arizona and all of America and even around the world celebrated the life and legacy of the late Senator John McCain. He was more than a maverick, more than a patriot, more than a war hero. He was a good man who loved his country.
I agree, Steve, and myself, and on the behalf of the station and the both of us, condolences to his family, his wife, his mother, all of his children, everyone involved. They deserve it.
And fittingly, on this day, you are wearing an Arizona Cardinals jersey.
I had to.
McCain loved the Cardinals. Serving his country in sports defined the man. Right.
What a great way to put it.
And guess what? You know, the debate has surfaced again since his passing a week ago. Is Senator John McCain a war hero? Well, on Monday, following a day where the flag was flown at full staff in an apparent snub and diss of the Republican senator who died of brain cancer on Saturday at the age of 81, the flag returned to half staff. Public pressure and a scolding from the powerful American Legion forced President Trump to reverse course and lower the flag to half staff. I challenge anyone to write into the show, call us, send smoke signals, do whatever you can.
Send a letter.
Prove to me that Senator John McCain was not just an American hero or a war hero, flat out just a hero. Prove it to me.
I agree. I couldn't say it better myself, Steve. The term war hero is such a relative term, I do have to give them that, but in any increment, anyone that has had the label of a war hero deserves to be celebrated no matter what. And to discredit the achievements of John McCain, it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to anyone who's been in that position. It's disrespected to the families affected because of it, and it's flat out unpatriotic.
Let me lay the case. Here's a man who proudly served his country during the Vietnam War, when most of the soldiers who were being called up were poor and minority. And John McCain stepped up to the plate and went to war, flew several missions, dropped lots of bombs, got blown up or shot from the air. His plane crashed, 2 broken arms, a broken leg, and he was a prisoner of war. And there was a time where he had an opportunity, when his number was called, to be freed. He did not go. He stayed and said, I will serve and stay with my fellow Americans. When they leave, I leave. That, to me, is an American hero, a war hero. You know who is not a hero, a war hero?
I can think of a few.
Well, I'll tell you who. President Trump, 5 deferments. And for him to go out and diss Senator McCain, and a week prior to his death, not mention his name while introducing a defense bill in honor and named after Senator McCain, is a double diss.
We've learned that he's a selfish person. He's a disrespectful person. It's me, me, me until the cows come home.
All right, as we talked about, former Vice President Joe Biden spoke and eulogized Senator McCain during his funeral services here in Arizona. We all know that McCain loved sports, was a big proponent of sports. Who also spoke at his funeral today? Larry Fitzgerald. Take a listen.
After getting to know Senator McCain, I felt compelled to visit Vietnam. I wanted to see the places where the will of John McCain was tested and forged. I saw the lake. I walked the steps. I sat in the cell. And the ordeal that my friend survived became all the more real. Many people might wonder what a young African-American kid from Minnesota and a highly decorated Vietnam War hero turned United States Senator might have in common? Well, I thought of a few. I'm black, he was white. I'm young, he wasn't so young. He lived with physical limitations brought on by war. I'm a professional athlete. He ran for president, I run out of bounds.
All right, thoughts on Fitzgerald?
I think that's one heck of a way to go out. That's one heck of a way to celebrate John McCain. That was one of his favorite characteristics about his personality, was his love for the Arizona Cardinals. That's one of my favorite characteristics about him. So the privilege that Larry Fitzgerald had bestowed on him to be able to speak about John McCain, a good friend of his, that's the American way. That's the true American vision right there.
And I'll end it quickly. I've interviewed Senator John McCain several times. Feisty, especially when the questions are tough. But I'll say this, never took it personal. I took it as him just being a passionate American. End of story.
Great, thank you, Steve.
Rest in peace, Mr. Senator John McCain. All right, let's go ahead and move on to football. Will Arizona cover an 11.5-point spread against BYU? Well, the hype now lies squarely on Kevin Sumlin's shoulders. He inherited Heisman QB candidate Khalil Tate, of course, where Sportsline simulates every college football game 10,000 times. Tate is projected to light up BYU's defense with 316 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air and 92 yards and a score on the ground. Can Arizona beat the spread? Make some money, baby. Place the bets. Let's go.
Those stats thrown out right there doesn't sound too far from the truth. The kid's a firecracker. The kid's a hotshot. He got what it takes. I like that about him. But I tell you what, you have to win the time of possession battle against BYU to beat the Cougars. If BYU holds onto the ball 6 to 8 minutes at a time, keeps Khalil Tate shivering on the sidelines, there's nothing but bad things that are going to happen. We've learned that he's a snowball effect player. His momentum will slowly snowball up as the game progresses. So if he's going 3 and out, he's making mistakes, only bad stuff is going to happen from there.
Look, you said that BYU needs to control possession. Well, I think, or Arizona needs to control possession, okay? Arizona is not going to control possession against BYU. They're going to hold the ball. They're methodic. They're big. They're slow. Arizona and Khalil Tate are going to light up BYU. They're going to be quick. Khalil Tate is going to pull the trigger fast. And you know why? Because his O-line is still suspect. BYU has a huge defensive line. They're going to be rushing. He has to get rid of the ball quickly on slants, quick passes, or he's got to make that quick decision to take off running. I think Khalil Tate, although last year he averaged 187 yards to throw for 316 yards, I think he can do it. But the safe bet to me, which I would put $100 down right now on it, on the over-under, he will be a rush for more than 61 yards. That's an easy bet, easy money, baby.
And if it's not 61, it'll be 70. I can guarantee that much.
All right, here's our picks. Arizona opens the season. Battle of the Cats on Saturday, 7:30 kickoff.
Generous.
Oh yeah, Arizona. Kevin Sumlin, era. New Arizona starting.
A bit generous.
I have my pick right there, baby. Arizona, 42-21, beats the spread. I win another bet. I'm looking at $200.
Now what say me? I think it's going to be a bit more of a barn burner. The Kitty Cats got to battle it out in a bit chilly weather. I say 31-28. I say 31-28.
It's going to be in the 90s. What are you talking
sun's
about?
Down. That's chilly.
Look,
that's chilly.
Look. Right here, baby. Arizona, go Cats. Here, let me rub this on your hair.
Keep it in church.
Come on, man. Arizona, baby, is going to start off the season.
I give it to them.
Ready to go, and they are going to go after Houston and Ed Oliver, another #1 projected pick for next year. It's going to be a battle, baby. I'm loving this. This season's going to be good. Oh.
I like the energy, man.
All right. Keeping it on the subject of football, kind of, sort of. But sadly, after a deadly shooting at a video game tournament, should esports no longer be considered as a possible high school sport? And here's why. 3 people were killed and 19 others wounded in a shooting during a Madden NFL Elite video game tournament in Jacksonville, Florida last weekend. Today's gamers do not know how to separate fiction from reality. Do you agree? Because you are a gamer.
I play Madden, yeah. I play lots of Madden. I tell you what, I myself live a bit vicariously.
Thank you.
The blame is there, but I tell you what, if the inclusion of esports makes its way to becoming a high school sport, if it's creating opportunity, this cannot be a circumstance that prevents it from doing so. And why would it be? Concerts still go on, air travel still continues.
Because I think the video games are way too damn violent. And these kids, you know, they kill, they shoot, they kill some more, and then guess what? They get 9 more lives. And they kill, and then it becomes a reality. They go out there, they get angry, they're poor sports, they can't handle it because they live vicariously and think they're pro athletes and are going around parading themselves as though they are trying to, you know, sell themselves and make some money, etc., etc. And they start to live vicariously through it, lose reality, open fire on people. It's ridiculous.
And if we're going to throw around the argument that it's the video games, we also have to take into consideration the movies, the entertainment, the magazines, movies like Saving Private Ryan, fantastic Spielberg film, but evidently lots of action, lots of violence in that film too.
And I'll give you that. All right, guess what it's time for, baby? Bing, bing. Rapid fire. I fire off a topic with the local sports connection. Artie fires back a rapid response. He does not know what I'm going to throw at him.
Quick draw, McGraw.
Trust me on this one. Here we go. Ready? Round 1. Did U of A football coach Kevin Sumlin show unwavering leadership by kicking Texas A&M transfer Santino Margell off the team after a video surfaced of him making a racial slur to his former teammates?
If they're gonna talk the talk, they gotta walk the walk. Zero tolerance policy. I'm glad, and I'm also happy for the program that they're starting to establish themselves and starting to lay down the law.
And his first major controversy.
I agree.
Quick and swift.
Quick draw McGraw himself.
We haven't seen that before. Nice answer. Well, are you surprised ex-Wildcat QB Brandon Dawkins, who lost his starting job to Khalil Tate last year, transferred to Indiana, lost the starting job there, and then quit the team?
I'm not surprised. We saw a similar story with Sam Darnold and Max Brown. Max Brown went to Pittsburgh, ended up falling out for whatever the reason may be. It's very typical for this to happen, so I'm not surprised to happen to Brandon Dawkins.
I agree. But in his defense, he is taking some time off for mental health issues. So
if he needs it, he needs it.
All right. Well, after serving a 5-week suspension for drunk driving, can Arizona Cardinals GM Steve Keim earn his respect back from the players? Because we know suspensions have never been, you know, the same for players versus GMs, et cetera, et cetera.
And I don't think it's a matter of the GM versus the players. I think it's a matter of the organization and the players. Can the organization earn back the respect of the players and the entire NFL in general? I think it's going to be an uphill battle, but it's possible that they could sort of meet in the middle.
All right. Well, will ex-Wildcat Raleigh Elkins have more success as an NBA player or as a fashion designer of his new clothing line, Savage Life?
Everyone's got a clothing line. You buy a couple Walmart t-shirts, you send them to the printer. Deion Sanders' son has a clothing line and nobody knows about it. I don't think so.
All right. Last one, maybe. I might throw a curveball at you. Well, Phoenix Suns' Devin Booker has high expectations with ex-Cat DeAndre Ayton. In an interview, he declared, "It's winning time."
And I tell you what, every time a first-round draft pick happens to your team, a first overall draft pick happens to your team, it's nothing but hopeful. It's nothing but sunny skies. But be a realist here, and it usually takes around 3 to 4 years for that first overall pick to turn into something. So it's winning. It's a winning few years.
All right, that should have been a rapid response. Here's a rapid response for you, okay? Really quick. If you have a chance to go to U of A or an ASU game, why would you go to an ASU game? Look in that camera and explain that. why you're going to ASU game on Saturday. Wrap it.
I catch NAU, San Diego State. I catch a Reno, Nevada game. I love the sport. I'll catch a high school game on Thursday, Friday, Saturday's college. I see them all, man.
I catch BS.
I go catch Albuquerque. I go
right
catch
now.
the Lobos. I love them all, man. Cheap tickets,
I'm moving
cheap
on,
entertainment.
man. You're done. Should Sabino High School's baseball players be punished for a coach who got busted for cheating? Well, the Arizona Interscholastic Association stripped Sabino High School of its 2018 baseball title. SaberCats coach Mark Chandler quit last week. TUSD did not find the school illegally recruited players as accused, but said they made contact with players at baseball clinics and used booster money to pay for an additional coach. But again, the players,
of course,
should they be punished?
The perspective of the AIEA, in order for the violation to be detrimental to the program, they have to affect the players, which may affect the players' future. I can't say that I agree with that personally. There has to be some other way, even if it's some sort of fine, if it's something. A blacklist isn't enough, I understand that, but we can't affect the players as if the players were out there consciously violating AIA rules.
All right, I think that it's sad that the players, who are all teenagers, are going to be punished for a coach who knowingly did some things he should not have done. Does recruiting happen across the board in high school sports?
Of course.
Yes, and of course it happens in college and everywhere else, but yeah, it happens. But they still performed on the field and earned that trophy. They should not be punished for it.
I agree. It's just
ban the coach.
Ban the coach, blacklist the coach, ban the staff, ban anyone. I don't understand why there's investigations just to end up trickling down to the players. Investigate, find out who's actually at fault.
All right. Well, let's jump right into Do We Care? As you know, we love to tackle community issues and not just sports and ask ourselves, do we care? Well, in a now deleted Facebook post just hours before Senator John McCain passed away, Callie Ward, an Arizona Republican candidate and supporter of President Donald Trump, alleged that McCain's family announced he ended his treatment for brain cancer to hurt her Senate campaign.
Blah, blah, blah. Woe is me. I deserve attention. I deserve condolences. She's acting like a 4-year-old at a slumber party because the other girl was prettier than her. It's an absolute cry for help.
You know, we've ripped McSally for some of the things she's done on this show. And I can tell you, it's a good thing McSally won 51% to Callie's 28%, because that to me was the lowest blow of all political blows. I get it's politics, but that crossed the line of politics. That wasn't politics. That was personal, and that was just pandering to a fringe group of people that I just think that is just absolutely pathetic. I'm glad Callie Ward lost and got her butt handed to her.
That's one way to put it. A glitch delayed voting at 62 Maricopa County election sites on Tuesday, which triggered flashbacks to the 2016 primary when tens of thousands of voters were frustrated by long lines, causing more than 100,000 to walk away from the polls without casting ballots.
It's one of those SMH, shaking my head, and I might add a D in there, shaking my damn head. And the reason is because, again, we saw what happened in 2016. Michelle Reagan, Secretary of State, denied that there were glitches. Then we find out that the Russians did indeed try to break into our voting system, and nothing was done, despite the fact that the state was given federal grant money to fix those changes. And here we are again. More than 60 polls did not open on time to allow voters to cast their vote. In my opinion, Michelle Reagan should be charged for fraud, voter fraud, because of suppressing the vote.
And I can't seem to put 2 and 2 together to find out exactly why this is still a problem. Is it a maintenance issue? Is it that easy of a fix? Well, let's start putting our resources to it. But on the flip, as a voter, if it is that important to you to cast your ballot, please be patient with us.
All right, last one. Immigrant rights activists want the Pima County Sheriff's Department to remove ICE officials from the jail who are allowed to question inmates about their legal status. The Abolish ICE movement has come to Tucson.
And it's about dang time. ICE is absolutely and entirely way too militarized, figuratively and physically. And I've always said ICE hasn't been established as a problem and as a negative thing because of the overseers of it. Let's start establishing it as a problem because the city, you and I, everyone else sees it as negative.
The purpose of ICE was to go after terrorists. ICE now goes after Garden City is. Abolish it. Well, you've heard the phrase, oh no you didn't. Well, here at the 520, we're not afraid to tell it like it is with, oh yes, we did. I'll get started. I simply want to prove my point again on how photos and mugshots can be used to create a negative perception against minorities. Well, we've recently seen the president and other politicians use a photo of MS-13 gang members to associate them with migrant children in an effort to dehumanize them so no one would care that innocent children are being separated from their parents and are being held hostage in modern-day internment camps. Well, take a look at these photos right here. Can you guess which man beat another man to death for trying to rape his daughter inside a Quick Trip restroom stall? And which man is a flat-out killer? Well, based on how the media went out of its way to obtain family photos of Chris Watts and constantly show you photos of a happy-go-lucky, all-American man, you probably subconsciously assumed Watts, a white guy from Colorado, is the one who did what any father would do when confronting a child predator who tried to rape his daughter. Beat the crap out of him, right? Wrong. Watts is an admitted killer who murdered his pregnant wife and 2 daughters. But look at that photo right there. Again, you'd never guess it. Based on the photos used every time the story is aired on the news. That's the one that was shown. As for Melvin Harris, on the right, he only gets the mugshot treatment. We've yet to see a family photo of him smiling and hugging his daughter. All right, I get it. His underage daughter is the victim, and it's a no-no to show her face, but his daughter's face could have been blurred out to protect her identity. And please, don't accuse me of making this about race. Blame the blatant disparity in how we as a society portray minorities versus non-minorities. And to dismiss it as race baiting is exactly why you subconsciously and perceptually thought it was a black man who killed his family before knowing the facts. Admit it. It's okay.
It is okay. Thank you, Steve. I'd like to end mine on a positive note. Right around this time of year, you see the same headline. This guy was traded in the NFL, so-and-so was cut from the team. It's a very bittersweet time of the year. And some of the best advice I've ever gotten as an athlete is football is your vehicle, it is not your destination. Your destination is your education, accomplishments in your marriage and personal life. Football was the vehicle that brought you there. There's 2 close-to-home examples I have. Brett Hundley, Chandler native, Chandler High School alum, was just traded from Green Bay to Seattle for a 6th-round draft pick. He's seen starting playing time and he still has to prove he's not a bust. During the offseason, Brett and his wife go on a worldwide food tour. They keep us updated on Instagram. They saw Europe, they saw the Americas, they saw the world because of his job as a football player. Football was his vehicle that was able to bring his family closer together. Stanley Berryhill, a family friend of mine, received a scholarship to play at the University of Arizona while being a walk-on. And now football has provided himself the destination of a free education. Wondering why you're not starting, blaming the head coach, is treating football as the destination. Every time you ask football to love you, she will not love you back. She's too busy bringing families closer together, giving out free education. She doesn't care about your playing time. Remember that, and I promise it will be the greatest lesson you will learn in sports.
Well said, man. But let me go back to something that we talked about earlier. Are you sure you want to pick Arizona to beat BYU 31-28, baby?
It's going to be a barn burner. And I tell you what, I don't know.
I
don't know if they can do it all the way.
Yeah.
I'll see it.
Wildcats,
flag.
do you
Wave
love
my
me?
flag.
Da-da-da-da. All right, before we go, take a look at the clip of the week, or maybe our photo moment of the week. After the tragedy in Jacksonville, Jaguars quarterback Blake Bortles took it upon himself to buy all of the first responders meals to make sure they wouldn't go hungry serving their community.
Great job by him. Great job by him. If someone wasn't going to do it, somebody else would have stepped up, but I'm glad it was Blake Bortles.
And it's nice to see NFL players doing so much positivity within the community. Something we don't promote as much as we should. All right, that does it for this episode of the 520. Our goal is to tell it like it is because it's all about giving voice to opinions, even if you don't agree.
Be sure to follow the 520 on Facebook and on Twitter at the 520 Tucson and tell Steve to chill out.
And if you have a topic you want us to cover, send us an email at the 520@KVOA.com. I'm Steve Nunez.
I'm Marty Mata IV. Join us next week on the 520.
Go Wildcats. Yeah.